Hey everyone, it's Ben Hardy here, and in today's going to be going over the all-new Toyota Land Cruiser. I had a chance to see it in person, and so I'm going to show you guys some of the footage that I was able to get on this new Land Cruiser. Now, a little bit of a disclaimer, there was obviously a lot of people at the event, so it's not going to be the best footage ever, but it's better than nothing. And then something else that I also want to quickly mention before we dive into the video is the overall size of the Land Cruiser, because it seems like a lot of people are kind of confused on this. The new Land Cruiser appears to be just a bit bigger than like a Ford Bronco or a Jeep Wrangler, so it's significantly smaller than the previous generation Land Cruiser, but that's kind of the size of SUV that it is. Again, think Ford Bronco, Jeep Wrangler when you're looking at the images of this vehicle, because it's always hard to tell exactly how big a vehicle is from video. But with that being said, let's dive right into it. Well, let's take a look at the new Land Cruiser. So if you didn't see my first video, the Land Cruiser is powered by a turbocharged 2.4 liter four-cylinder that's paired to a hybrid system and an 8-speed automatic transmission, just like the new Tacoma. 326 horsepower and then 465 pound-feet of torque. No V6, no V8. That's it, turbocharged four-cylinder. Anyways, you guys can see here, you got like a camera there, you got some skid plate protection, boxy design overall with the front end. And I can tell you, seeing it in person, I kind of mentioned this at the beginning of the video, it's not as big as you might think given the photos and the videos. And on top of that, it kind of reminds me of the Suzuki Jimny, which I don't think is a bad thing because I think those look cool, but that's kind of gives you Suzuki Jimny vibes, basically. Look it up if you don't know what I'm talking about. Anyways, you guys can see with the suspension, independent front suspension, a lot of modern off-roaders go for that so that it has better handling and ride quality for on-road use, even though obviously, off-roading is a big part of it. And then, something else to mention, you guys can see here with the setup in the rear, you've got a solid rear axle, and you've got shocks special here to the Land Cruiser, supposed to help out with the off-road capability, and then also multi-link in the back as well. So that's good. Now this does have a power hatch, but everyone kept closing it manually, which was funny, but also is because like half the time the automatic function wouldn't work. Now the tailgate design back there I think is pretty interesting overall. You got the Land Cruiser badge there off to the side as well. And then you guys can see, I really like this interior actually, like the touch points they've put in here. I think that they look nice, feel nice, kind of has that rugged feel to it, which again, being an off-roader, it makes sense as to why they're going for that. You can see the side steps there. And then lighting's horrible with the shot, but you've got like the brown leather seats. I mean, again, that kind of has that rugged off-roader, almost like Western type theme. I think it's actually really cool. And then you can see legroom back here. Again, similar to Jeep Wrangler, frankly. And then you get your own climate zone in the back, and then with the USBs and all of that down below. And then headroom back there because that's a block of cheese. It's pretty good. And then here's a quick look at the cargo area. So again, when you look at this, it looks like it's slightly bigger than like Ford Bronco, Jeep Wrangler. And so it looks like that's where you get like, again, it's slightly bigger than those. That's kind of where you get like the added benefit is a little bit of a larger cargo area. And you guys can also see there's cup holders and everything back there. So it looks like you can get a third row with it. Correct me in the comment section below if I'm wrong, but it looked like it had some sort of pull out there. Maybe they're going to have that in the future if they don't have it now. Again, cup holders back there. Suspicious. Anyways, look at the trim there in the front. And then you guys can see you got stuff like memory seats and, normal Toyota switchgear, which is fine. Has a nice kind of like durable feel to it. And they got the square mirrors. Some people have said they don't like that because of visibility, but, I'll have to see that when I test one of these out on the road. But power adjustments on the seats. You guys can see the pedals, and then you got like the hood latch release, and then trailer brake control, which I thought was cool. Kind of emphasizing the towing ability with this. You can see the controls there for like turning the outlet, the hatch, all of that. And then I like the material use, and also you can see the steering wheel is power adjustable. Now this steering wheel, if I'm being honest, kind of reminds me of the Prius steering wheel, like with its kind of square design. I know some Toyota people get triggered by that, but it's kind of looks like a Prius steering wheel almost. But it's cool. It's boxy like the outside. Paddle shifters for the 8-speed, and I tried to start it up, wouldn't let me. But it was worth a try. But you guys can see digital gauge cluster. Can't really see anything on it, but obviously same thing. Big infotainment system. And then I actually like this climate control section. Again, physical buttons for the heated and cooled seats, climate controls, all of that. So I think that's good. Again, I think Toyota people are going to love that. And then you got that for the camera system. You can see some USBs, wireless phone charging pad, and then the shifter. It's cool that it has an actual shifter. And then the drive mode select, which it's pretty cool. You twist it, and I think they did a good job with the overall look on that. And then you got like a physical volume control as well. And then notice you can switch between like drive mode. You got your multi-terrain select, crawl control as well. So you got all of that to shift through. And then does have a 2-speed transfer case, as you can see. Front, or sorry, not front, but center and rear locking differential rather. And then center console was actually on the slightly, it's not tiny, but is on the smaller side, but bigger than like Wrangler and Bronco for sure. So, you know, better than the, you know, thing that I think this is trying to compete against, or will compete against rather. Center flare on the top, and then you got controls for it as well, and then your lights and everything right there. Now this was a little more loaded up one. This right here is the 1958 edition. I might be getting the year wrong. It's been a long day. Anyways, this is the like entry level Land Cruiser, and this is the version that I think a lot of people are excited about because it has almost more of a retro look because of the circular lights. And I think it's cool they did 2 different light styles with it to differentiate the packages. I think that was like good job to Toyota for doing that. But yeah, cool looking front end. Obviously more of a street tire setup here, but I mean, tires, that's one of the easiest things to change on a vehicle and one of the least expensive too. But independent front suspension, you guys can see with the fender flares there, and then still got the square mirrors on it, and then painted door handles, which is a nice touch on more of a quote-unquote baseline car, even though they said the Land Cruiser starts in like the mid-50s. So as you're looking at this baseline car, remember this is apparently going to be somewhere in the mid-$50,000 range, and I'm guessing the loaded up one's going to be, you know, mid-60s, maybe even $70,000. So just keep that in mind, I suppose, as you're looking at the features and everything here with this Land Cruiser. But overall, I mean, you know, stylistically, I think they did a good job. I do prefer, even though it's like a sibling vehicle, I prefer the Lexus GX. I think that the style on that's a little bit cooler in my opinion. And then try to show kind of underneath a little bit. Looks like got a bezel over the receiver hitch, which is pretty cool. Both of them got spare tires underneath. It would have been cooler if they did the on the back, but then obviously they would have had done like not a hatch like what they did with these, where it opens up, because that's what happens when you do a spare tire on the back. But I don't know. I think Land Cruiser people would have been, I mean, let me know if I'm wrong, but I think they would have been okay with that. Now, these cloth seats felt super durable. Like, they felt like they could survive the apocalypse. So, I think they did a good job with the material use. But again, yeah, cloth interior with this more baseline package. And, you know, let me know which color you like the best. I kind of prefer the blue on the other one, but, you know, silver is more of a neutral color that more of you might like. And then up front, again, super base with the interior. Like, basically think like base model work truck interior. That's what this interior is like, for those of you that are wondering. And again, cloth seats that can survive the apocalypse up front. Manually adjustable. So this is kind of like a Wrangler Sport, in a sense. Trailer brake controls. And then you guys can see some of the other stuff, like gas cap release and all that. But I will say it does have more features than like a Wrangler Sport. So you can see like all the safety tech with the adaptive cruise control and all that. You got the full digital gauge cluster, just like the more loaded up Land Cruiser. You know, smaller infotainment system. And then notice still have heated seats. You've got the dual zone climate controls. So it's still got quite a few features. Still got the drive mode select. And you guys can see the ECT power mode and the drive mode. So you don't get the other off-road modes, but you still get the center and rear locking differential, as well as the 2-speed transfer case. But yeah, just again, a lot of the same features as the other one, just slightly, you know, more base interior, and no sunroof, of course, right? But let me know which one you like the best, and let me know if you're excited for the new Land Cruiser, or if you would prefer the new Lexus GX, or if you're still Team Ford Bronco or Jeep Wrangler after seeing one of these, or if you're going to wait for the new 4Runner.